Here's our buddy Charlie Kirk going on Fox News. Now, I got to be honest with you. I don't know if Charlie Kirk has used the invasion language.
He has.
There you go.
And fact check.
Sorry. I wonder if now Charlie Kirk is going on there. He's going to be talking about why they engage in mass shootings. Is that right?
No, this is about eco-anxiety. We're off the mass shootings.
Is that it?
Yeah.
I thought that was why he was arguing that that's why they engage in that. So he's going to come up with why are these young people, because he's the young person expert, why are these young people engaging in mass shootings? And he can't say, why is the guy who's afraid of an invasion of immigrants engaging in mass shootings? He can't get up there and say, oh, that guy's doing that because I didn't say there's an invasion enough. He can't say that. He needs to find some other reason. Maybe it's because there's being so much anxiety that young people have. It has nothing to do with college debt. It has nothing to do with living in a situation where they're not going to do as well as their parents.
I remember having anxiety about school shootings when I was in high school.
Well, let's hear what Charlie Kirk has, why he thinks they're doing it.
One other topic of concern is the environment. So much talk about global warming and climate change and stuff like that. Vogue magazine has a headline, How to Talk to Your Kids About Eco-Anxiety, and they define it as eco-anxiety is a specific type of worry or fear focusing on environmental destruction. It has been at a serious level enough to interfere with their lives.
Pause it for 1 second. It doesn't say it's been at a serious level. It has to be at a level serious enough to interfere with their lives to be an actual, because look, if you're a 12-year-old kid and you pay attention to even glancing, checking the news, you'll see that July was the hottest month in the history of the world. That's not good. But here they're going to mock it maybe on some level. They're going to say it's a fake anxiety. It's been created, manufactured.
What do you make of that?
Well, first of all, I really find it hard to believe that there are 5- and 6-year-olds that truly have anxiety towards the inevitable alleged destruction of our environment. But if that actually does exist, then isn't it the people on the left that are saying the world's going to end in 12 years? It's their fault that these children actually have this anxiety, if it is true. Isn't it the people that are saying we only have 10 years left to live? Again, this is something that is just so based in fear-mongering and demagoguery. The idea that children are having some sort of anxiety that the world is going to end in 10 to 12 years, which is anti-science and is just not true whatsoever. But again, you look at the left, look what they're trying to do. They're trying to make it seem, well, it's for the children, why we need some sort of Green New Deal or more government control over our economy.
Charlie, there's no doubt kids have worries and anxiety. Just last night, one of my boys was worried about whether he'd be on the team with the other two boys in basketball camp this morning. Yeah, but it's not just families. It's schools are reinforcing this eco-anxiety, too, by being obsessed with climate change.
That's exactly right. And unfortunately, this is a really important point. Elementary school children spend much more time focusing on climate change and the environment than they do on American history. You'll have 4th and 5th graders that will know much more about...
Pause it for 1 second. I cannot tell you how many times the right has complained about actual American history being taught to people.
Well, Charlie kind of hints at what kind of American history he wants taught.
The good kind of American history.
American history. You'll have 4th and 5th graders that will know much more about the idea that the world will end in 10 years than about 1776, the War of 1812, the Civil War, Abraham Lincoln, or the beauty of the American founding. And that right there can answer the question of how these radical ideas are actually able to spread in our society when you spend far more time on the idea that the world is going to end in 10 years, which is totally false, and not on the history of our country.
All right, so he's not bringing it up in the context of the shooting. Okay.
That's a great segment.
The idea
Sam?
that fourth graders or fifth graders. Now, Charlie doesn't get this because this is a problem you have when I think you're Charlie's age. Is you're you don't remember what you knew at that age, and you haven't had your memory refreshed by hanging out with people that age, which is probably a good thing that he's not. But having had a recent 4th and 5th grader and expecting another one to be a 4th and 5th grader in about 4 or 5 years, I can tell you that they, do things like read the internet and see the reports and study things called natural science. And if you're teaching science and you're not talking about global climate change, then you're not doing your job.
Yeah, you're not teaching science.
Now, what's interesting, though, is that Charlie does understand the implications of fear-mongering. Like, for instance, if you told everybody, let's say you went and told a group of kids who are in 5th grade, there's an invasion going on. We're being invaded. I suspect that they would freak out. Here he is. Charlie Kirk, to be fair, this is 7 months ago. Liberal hypocrisy, he writes. Tear gas was used at least once a month from 2009 to 2013 to deter immigrants at the southern border. Under the Obama administration, the left is outraged when our Border Patrol agents protect our country from a violent invasion, but only if Trump is president. Well, on some level, certainly the use of tear gas, it wasn't used in the exact same way, but the use of tear gas was certainly something that people should have been pissed about. Of course, I don't remember Charlie Kirk praising Obama for using tear gas.
And plenty of people on the left were outraged by both of those things.
Yes. But the idea that we're involved in a violent invasion, I think Charlie has figured out probably why some people are inspired to commit those domestic terrorist attacks. Inadvertently, he may have.
I agree with him that we should teach, American history more in schools. For instance, like about that founding of the country that was so beautiful. For instance, who would have the slaves preferred to have won that war? Not America.
And then, as long as we're doing the Civil War, we could do Reconstruction, and we could do the end of we could do Jim Crow. That would be fun to hear about.
Well, don't go overboard. You don't want to make the kid look. They're anxious enough about basketball tryouts, bro.
They don't want to know about structural racism.
They want to know about structure. They want to know about the plantation economy. They want to know whether they're going to be able to. They don't want to know
about slavery capitalism.
I mean, basketball is winter. What about spring sports?
You're going to bring Sven Beckert into them, talk about slavery and capitalism.
Now sit down and you listen, kids.
That would be awesome.
We're going to take some time to understand that our country is fundamentally diseased, but then the other part is going to be that your world isn't going to exist. So Daddy would like to apologize for bringing you into this world, which is going to end so soon.
I've said that so many times.
Do you see? Did you pick them up in your arms and they were babies? Go, oh, I'm so sorry. If you're lucky, they won't raid the Social Security Trust Fund.
Misery loves company.
I did specifically tell them, Daddy's going to be a little bit annoying. I'm giving you a heads up right now. And if you don't like it, then you're going to have to figure out some other way to survive.
My way or the Long Island Expressway.
Exactly.
Do you see?